Hey yo, welcome back to the No Limits podcast. As you can see on my screen, we got the boss man, Mams Taylor in the house. What's up, Mams? How you doing, bro?
What's up, Prob? How are you, man?
I'm good. I'm good. This is a long time coming, bro. I've been asking this for a while.
You have, and persistence always pays. And also, I see you, sometimes being a voice of reason in the community. And I like the way you think for the most part. You're quite logical. Sometimes I think we disagree, but that's what makes the world go round, you know?
I mean, yeah, I think early on in our, I would say, relationship, you've publicly shared that you didn't like my opinions, which is fine. I feel like we've had like a shaky relationship, but I like it. I like it like that. We don't agree on everything, but we don't disagree on everything either.
Look, some of my best friends, we have completely opposing views about all kinds of things. And I think as long as it's respectful and we can social media platforms is a different thing because then everyone else chimes in and ratios and God knows what else. But I think with friendships, it's important to not just agree blindly and always ask questions if you're unsure. And what happens is we react to our impulsive reaction comes out first, right? So if you say something, I might be triggered to react to what you say without giving it much thought, and I could change my mind an hour later. Or even the step we miss a lot is we're so married to our opinions and we're loyal to our opinions. That's the wrong use of loyalty. Loyalty shouldn't be to your opinions. It should be towards seeking truth, right? So
Yeah.
without important discussions to understand other people's perspectives, you can never really grow because there's not a single person that knows everything. Know-it-alls are the worst, man. People who don't take responsibility or for making mistakes and things like that, they can never really grow. I always get worried when a staff member makes a fuck up
Mm-hmm.
and they have excuse after excuse after excuse. I respect it so much more when they say, hey, circumstances might have been A, B, and C, but I take responsibility for this. I fucked up because that's what I do. And by doing that, it then gives me faith in thinking they're not going to repeat that mistake. Whereas if they never thought they did anything wrong in the first place, then inevitably they're going to repeat that mistake, you know?
No, bro, I 100% get that. I feel like as I grow older, I understand that more as well. Especially me because I feel like when I would like mess up, like when I was younger or like to my teachers, I would like lie to my teacher, or lie to my parents. But I feel like just telling the truth is like so much easier.
It's crazy because when you tell, even in a relationship, if you have a girlfriend or whatever, um, if you start off being fully honest, it's and being transparent and even saying things that you're like, oh shit, they might get angry or they might not want to hear this. Instead of choosing the path of saving your own ass, if you're actually transparent about whatever, you'd be surprised how that makes you closer with people because then you earn trust, you know? So
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's so worth that 5 minutes of feeling uncomfortable to create a bond where you're like, okay, well, this person didn't have to tell me that because obviously I'm not gonna be happy about it, but they chose to tell me the truth regardless of that, and then you earn trust that way, I think, so
Yeah, I think that's a lot what people tend to miss, honestly. You're right on that one step. That one step, I guess you could summarize it in one word, calling it reflection. You could definitely, a lot of people tend to skip that over.
reflection, connection, perspective is such an important part of life in general. I was telling, well, I've told my daughter this a bunch, but I was telling a friend of mine, if I choose to have a negative perspective in a negative situation, it's not going to there's no double negative or that's going to help. If I choose to be positive in a situation that's not gone my way, then I'm more likely to get out of that negative situation and turn it into a positive. I think disciplining your mind is so important and practicing that on a daily basis. That's those kind of things help you achieve successful results in the direction you want to go in. So just being optimistic and positive and doing the work towards whatever your ambition or goal is essential. That's always been my way of working, you know, or applying that to, and obviously as you get older, which I am getting older, unfortunately, you do get wiser if you're open-minded and if you're like, oh shit, I fucked up. This is how I could have done something better.
Yeah.
And while we're on the topic, we're just riffing, I guess, but I think it's so important because even if someone does something where they're 90% wrong and you reacted poorly to them, you're 10% at fault. Let's say if we could categorize and sort of split the percentages and say, all right, you're 10% at fault. I'm going to choose to own my 10% rather than focus on their 90%. And I promise that's the most magical thing you can do in an argument, because then the other person's like got no leg to stand on. They're like, oh shit, he's saying he's at fault, but really maybe it was my fault more, or maybe it was my fault too. And then what happens is they take responsibility too, and then you're out of that vicious cycle of the egos battling each other.
Yeah, the self-realization.
Like, for example, with me, Mams, I feel like sometimes I do have an ego problem and I take things to heart like more than I really should. And then it's like 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, why did I say that? It wasn't even that serious. But I feel like the more I grow, maybe the better I'll get at that.
Well, the more you learn how to respond rather than react, that's a true powerful weapon, you know. How many times I've certainly been guilty of this, but way less than I was in my 20s, way less than I was in my 30s. And as you get older, you do tend to be a bit more relaxed and, oh shit, that sucks that this didn't go my way, but there's nothing I could have done to prevent that. There's nothing I can do to change that now. How can I prevent that in the future or whatever, you know, like just being self-reflective and taking responsibility for your side of things. It's such a freeing thing, and that really, really sets you up to be a successful human with that kind of growth that you can get out of taking responsibility.
Yeah.
Damn, bro.
And a lot of the time, it's not responsibility that comes from things you say or do visibly. So it might be on the surface the other person's fault all the way, but in reality, you know, if you're really self-reflective and true to yourself, you know you can scan and detect your energy wasn't clean in approaching the situation. Just because it seems like you're in the right, and that's what our ego wants. Our ego wants to be in the right all the time, you know? But if we can strip ourselves of that and say, okay, did I approach this with a negative energy? Did I have a negative opinion about the person I'm working with? Or did I secretly get satisfaction out of them not doing well or whatever? And if you scan that and you're truthful with yourself, I think that's a really powerful weapon, you know?
For sure, yeah.
Damn, bro, we just got some free words of wisdom from Mams Taylor.
That's like gold right there.
That was crazy.
For whatever it's worth. But yeah, people are gonna be like, what's blood waffling about?
No, I appreciate that. That's actually a very powerful message, man.
Yeah, but Mams, I wanted to start off this interview. I really want to know is like, outside of Misfits, outside of being KSI's manager, what is a day in the life of Mams Taylor, bro?
Spending time. My daughter, obviously, like, is the most important thing in the world to me, but unfortunately she's 18 right now and she much prefers speaking and hanging out with her friends than she does with her dad. I used to be really cool to her, but now she's like, daddy, you're kind of cringe. She says that to me a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it sucks. So I'm banned from her TikTok. I can't look at her TikToks. She doesn't like it when I leave comments like that's lit or something under her Instagram. She gets embarrassed. So
But you're just trying to be relatable.
I am. I mean, I work with people who are half my age pretty much all the time in the boxing stuff, you know. So it's difficult not to pick these things up. I always see when I leave a comment, people are like, blood is pushing 40, but I'm actually 44, but blood is pushing 50 or whatever they say. Why are you using this word or whatever? But I always find it funny. I don't think I'll ever fully be I don't know what you're supposed to act like when you're 44, but I just like having fun and making light of situations. And I think the more you enjoy your life, the more value you bring to other people, to be honest with you, because your energy is contagious at the end of the day. And if you can spread positivity by being happy, that's the thing. And for me, a lot of that is being not childish, but childlike.
Yeah.
So pranks and whatever you can find humor in, and find humor in yourself, and laugh at yourself and stuff like that. I think that's
But like, but Mams, doesn't your daughter be like, whoa, like my dad works with KSI, such these cool other YouTubers and stuff, or does she just not care?
she doesn't care. She doesn't care. She's really a she's a very, very true, authentic artist. She's an incredible writer and an incredible
Wow.
singer, and she makes music, but she's very, very, she's as stubborn as a mule, like, and she gets that from me for sure. So, she's on her journey. She's definitely very creative person, very artistic, and yeah, she's putting some focus in on her music now. So I'm excited to be working with her on that in the near future.
No, that's really good. Honestly, like it shouldn't be revolved around what your dad does. You got to be yourself. And honestly, that's really good that she's doing what she wants. Speaking
Yeah.
about KSI though,
Mhm.
so how did the relationship with KSI start?
So my other client, SX, you guys know SX?
Yeah, 100%.
He introduced us, and I started off as his music manager, and then it just evolved into managing everything for him, and
Mm-hmm.
becoming his partner essentially on a number of projects. So
Yeah.
I think it was a natural progression, a build up of trust, just showing each other, and learning each other and understanding each other, and me as a manager, really, really listening to what his goals are and what he wanted to achieve, and trying my best to facilitate those things and sharing that vision. We're both very passionate. We have extremely good work ethic, and I think we're both jokesters who just have a good time in life, even though he never finds my personal jokes funny. Yeah, he just thinks I have boomer humor. I've tried to make him watch Curb Your Enthusiasm like a dozen times. Guys, tell me you've seen that show.
Kirby
No, I haven't.
Enthusiasm? I haven't even heard of it, no, unfortunately.
It's with Larry David, who created Seinfeld, okay? And it's about he plays himself. But when you get a chance, watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think it's the funniest show that's been on TV in years.
Yeah, might just have to take a look at that, honestly.
What is
Yeah,
it on Netflix?
it was on HBO, so I think it's on Prime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I've tried to convince him to watch it a million times, and he's like, "Bro, this is just boomer humor." I'm like, "I swear it's not. It's really fun." But
Well, yeah, I guess the age difference kind of comes with that. So I guess like there was probably a learning curve, like a major learning curve for you when you started working with JJ, or
no, I've been working, obviously, like, being a talent management company, we're going to attract younger people in the first place, or we're also going to want to work with younger people who have more shelf life, more potential. You
mm-hmm.
know, it's going to be unlikely if a 50-year-old man comes and he's super talented and says, "Hey, I want representation to make a rap album or whatever."
Yeah.
It's just the way the world works, unfortunately, but so I'm kind of used to it, and also I'm very close with my daughter, so like I listen to like the things that she says, and I pick up the lingo pretty quickly. And that's it, man. But to answer what you were asking before as well, I think everyone's seen from my Insta and stuff. I love animals. I love rescuing animals, spending time with my horses and donkeys and my dogs
Yeah.
and all of that, and working. I think I integrate it, and I finally found a balance where before I was working nonstop all the time. Everything was about work. I got out of shape. my health wasn't as good. I wasn't sleeping very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now I've got much more relaxed system where I have full intensity when I work, but I get time to have full playfulness and full relaxation. And those three things, if you can combine and balance relaxation, intensity, and playfulness, then I think you've got like a major key towards happiness, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like a major thing you've produced that we all love is Misfits, and of course people know what Misfits is now. It's like an influencer boxing company, but I really wanted to know it, like, what's the origin story of Misfits? How did you and JJ sit down and be like, okay, we want to start a fucking company. We don't want to just fight. We want to like own the company. How did that start?
Pretty simple. I always have the mindset when you've got someone like JJ who's in many ways an anomaly. You know, there's not many people like him who are so spread thin in different areas, but still manages to ace all of those areas. It made sense to me. He's such a workhorse, and he's a powerhouse, and he's someone who has such an extensive fan base that are interested in many areas of the things he does: YouTube, boxing, music, whatever he chooses to do, people are paying attention to. So I said, look, you're essentially an entrepreneur, you know, but let's streamline that. And instead of making money for others, let's make sure you make money for yourself. And even with Misfits, the plan was, it's like, long after you retire, let's make sure you have many businesses that you're still getting checks from. Not that he's planning to retire soon. And he says he'll do YouTube for life. So I don't think he's ever going to fully retire. I don't think I'll ever fully retire either. But I think it was just a smart decision when you're like, when you have that entrepreneurial spirit, it makes sense. Instead of just being signed to a label, let's do our own label. If you want to box, let's not box for another company. Let's box for our own company.
Yeah.
Instead of him doing drinks for a drink promotion for another beverage company, why not do our own beverage company? You know, so that's always been sort of what I'm about as a manager. You know, first and foremost, I think I've seen lots of different managers in hip hop and in the music industry and in talent management in general. A lot of managers are very afraid of their clients, and they become like glorified assistants.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So I've seen top tier talent, top level talent be like, hey, go do this, get me the car, blah, blah. Like, you shouldn't speak to anyone that way anyway in the first place, but they do. And the manager's like literally just their yes man and does whatever they say, doesn't question anything. Even if they think their client's making a bad decision, they'll never bring that up to them because they're scared that they'll lose their job, you know? So
Yeah.
I've parted ways with some clients that expected and wanted that, because my value doesn't come from that area. My value comes from having a strong opinion, a lot of experience in business, and seeing things that others might not see as quickly, and then piecing it together and essentially bringing like a paternal vibe to the work that I do, where it's just through, because I'm older than most of my clients, I can give good advice in a fatherly way, and I like that I connect, and all of my team connect with our clients fairly well. So it's a lot of the time, you know, we'll have deep conversations about things that have nothing to do with business or work or any of that. So I think it's important to build a bond with someone that you're succeeding with, and you can succeed even further when the trust is there fully, and you've kind of proven yourself to one another. That partnership has no limit in how no limit.
No limits.
See, this is why my daughter says I'm cringe. But basically, I think, yeah, it's a recipe for success when you're both enjoying each other's victories, and it means so much to you, you know. So we try and have a really good relationship with all of our clients, where we understand what they need, and obviously, inevitably, you're going to become friends if you're working together and succeeding and getting to know each other. You're going to see qualities in each other that you like, and it's just going to make you closer, which makes things even more enjoyable when you succeed.
Yeah, like discussing all these like different hardships with different people, but I guess it comes with different personalities and opinionated people that, you know, it tends to clash sometimes. And you know what, you guys just gotta be the bigger man and just learn to part ways. But staying on that topic, like what are like the hardest parts of being a manager and owner, I guess you could say as well?
Well, it depends. It depends what we're talking about. But obviously, you never want to let your clients down. So when something doesn't go the way that you want, managers have it rough, because a lot of the time we get the blame and we get none of the credit, you know?
Yeah.
Your inner circles and people in a professional capacity will know what you've done and what you've contributed and achieved and everything. But for the general public, at the end of the day, it's very easy to get blamed for things that they're not happy with, and they look to the manager for that. And then again, when there's wins, there's no one standing there saying, "Hey, well done." But that's what we do, so I'm not complaining about that. I think that's what we choose as managers. You know, we're not here to milk the limelight or any of that stuff. And for me, it's like, I've seen before where people are like, it's stopped now, but I remember back in the day, a lot of the time, because I'm quite an opinionated guy, and I've always been that way. People be like, "Oh, he's a clout chaser, he's a this, he's a that." I could give a shit about any of that stuff. It doesn't pay my bills to have clout, you know. But at the end of the day, I do find it quite funny, and I am a bit of a troll sometimes. So you get what you give at the end of the day. So I'm not complaining.
Yeah, no, I feel like staying on that topic, I feel like one time where a lot of people were online were saying, "Oh, Mams is a clout chaser. The way KSI is now is because of Mams." I feel like it was during the whole Wade situation, and obviously, not to touch back on that, but like, was that like a rough time, or like did you really not care about like what people were saying online about you?
No, I have pretty thick skin. And the more you know yourself, the less you're going to care what random people think about you, you know?
Yeah.
And man, I've been on a journey. I've gone through a lot of life in order to try to get to know myself. And essentially, I've grown into a place where some random person who's never met me on Twitter or Instagram says something that, how can it hurt me? It can only hurt me if it's true, right? Or if it's some, so I don't think it matters. It's not pleasant to have a whole bunch of people tell you you're a wanker or whatever. Yeah, it's not like, "Oh wow, this is so amazing," but at the end of the day, I think if you have a strong mind and a good soul and you get to know yourself, I don't think it should bother you that much. And don't get me wrong, I have my moments of weakness sometimes where something like hurts. I'm like, "Oh, you motherfucker," but I'm not going to cry about it, and I just get on with my day. I might get knocked back for like 3 seconds and then overcome it, because I know that it's essentially coming from my ego. And then I overcome it and I just move on. It's not like I think about it ever again, probably, you know? So I think at that time I felt I handled the situation poorly in terms of getting on space and being emotional and emotionally charged. So the situation was handled incorrectly, but the decision was not at all, you know? So I don't think, the problem is, I don't think people had a chance to, I don't think that whole situation was handled correctly in any way. And I think, you know, I apologize that it was handled that way. So I meant that sincerely. That part, that's all I said. But yeah, things happen, and you know, you're gonna make mistakes. But if you let people define you by your mistakes, then you're a weak person. I mean, how I define myself doesn't really, other people's that I've never met doesn't come into play for that at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, like reflecting on that whole situation, I feel like a lot of people at the time were going against you and JJ, but I feel like now the narrative has switched. I feel like a lot of people do hate on Wade. I feel like maybe they're seeing something they didn't see before. I don't know. I'm just trying to like talk about the audience, right? But yeah, I think a lot of people want to know. I see this all over Twitter. Would Wade be allowed back on Misfits?
Look, I think he can come as a guest, enjoy the show. He's got things going on. I'm not interested in him working with us. I'm not interested in anything that's going to potentially cause drama or anything like that with him. I don't care. Like, I wish him the best. I hope he has a great, he has a lot of success with whatever he does, you know, like, I'm not someone who's wishing on anyone's particular downfall as an individual. I just, I think that always comes back to you if you carry that sort of vibe. But it is what it is, you know, like I said, but I don't think, I think we've moved in different directions, and there's nothing more to say on that.
I mean, yeah, I feel like that's an honest answer. And Mams, I hope you know, you saying have fun on Kingpyn Wade was the most promotion Kingpyn did. So you actually helped them out in a way.
I know we keep somehow in some accidental way helping them out. I enjoyed the quarterfinal, the semifinals fights quite a lot, to be honest. I think they were really
fair.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Gibb Jarvis one did get a bit boring to me. And that's why I don't get it when people are like, make 5 rounds, 6 rounds, blah, blah, blah for regular influencer fights. That's the worst mistake we can do.
Yeah.
5 rounds is too long because you need to pack these with action. We want to see someone being a bit more reckless and going for a knockout. That's what the entertaining part of it is. The problem is people are getting so technical, and it's becoming a little bit less fun to watch, in my view, you know. But having said that, I think King Kenny stole the show. Like, that was an incredible performance from him. I was very impressed. And then the girls were really entertaining fights as well. So, you know, I watch it, and I'm not there hoping for the downfall of Kingpyn. I'm watching it and enjoying it. So how could I enjoy it and at the same time be like, rats, Kingpyn is, you know?
Yeah.
You know what? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, let's put Kingpyn to the side. I think what we all want to see as influencer boxing fans is this KSI versus Tommy Fury fight. Mams, give us the update. Why is it not announced yet? What can you say?
Why is it not announced yet? I guess you guys will find out eventually, but it's not something I can talk about too much right now.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't give like any update on the fight. Is it close to happening, or is it gonna happen like 100%? Is that like?
I mean, nothing's 100%, even if yeah, but I think there'll be some hopefully some news coming very soon, so stay tuned.
Yeah, because John Fury just went on some interview and said that the money is the issue, but I think before you stated money wasn't an issue and there was weight issues.
I wonder, when was that interview from? I was curious. I haven't had time to check the date on it, but I'm assuming it was probably older, no?
Oh, I mean, I saw the clip like a day or two ago. Maybe it was recorded earlier and then it got released later. I think maybe that could be the case.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think there's any issues though.
Okay, fine. I mean, okay. KSI vs Tommy is a really cool fight, this, that, but I think the dream fight for all YouTube boxing fans, and even outside of it, you know, KSI vs Jake Paul. Is that ever gonna actually happen?
Is that gonna happen? I don't know. I was so confident it would happen. I was saying, guys, I'm telling you, I even tweeted it, you know, like maybe 3 or 4 times. I was like, it's happening this year. Then I said it's happening in December. And then everything changed after he lost, because we were having negotiations about it. This is old news. You guys know all of this stuff.
Yeah.
But everything was accepted verbally, and then everything changed suddenly. Then it was taken away, and then Jake wanted to fight Nate instead of JJ, which honestly, like, I think that's a massive mistake on his part. I do too. I think he should have taken that fight. with JJ, because where does he go after Nate? There's so many ifs and buts and stuff, but obviously JJ's fighting soon, and that will determine his next fight, will determine his direction, just as Jake's next fight will probably determine his direction a little bit. But I mean, I can't see him losing. If he lost to Nate, I think he should probably go back to Disney.
Disney.
But if he, which I don't think is going to happen, but if he beats Nate, what's his next move? You know, it's interesting where he'll go from there.
I mean, I'm sure, yeah. Like, I'm sure this is probably like a dumb question, but like, you think the best prospect to fight KSI is actually Jake himself, or do you have other people in mind?
Sorry, to fight KSI?
Yes.
Obviously, you guys know which fight we're focused on now. If that comes to fruition, like we hope, that's what the focus is going to be on. I don't think it's something to look past, but you know, fantasy fight that I know he wants to have, he said it the other day, is McGregor.
Of course.
Yeah.
So that would be a cool fight. Obviously, him against Mayweather would be a cool fight. So it's just a few bigger fights. I don't think it's the right move for KSI to fight the Misfits roster that are coming up, you know. I don't think it's the right time for that.
Yeah.
If Kenny or Salt Papi or one of those guys emerges as the guy, like Salt Papi was that guy for a second. He got tested against Anthony and he didn't succeed, right?
Yep.
But it doesn't mean it's over for him. He's very much, look how much Kenny improved after his surprise loss to Raksu, right? And Raksu did very well, not taking anything away from him. But look how much that inspired Kenny to improve and to let his hands go. And I've been hearing that the same has gone for Salt Papi. So I think they're not in a place where they would beat JJ. And I honestly, people would be surprised to know this, but one of the reasons that I don't want any of our prospects to fight JJ is because I think it's different being beaten by JJ than being beaten by an Anthony Taylor or someone like, you know, who's been fighting professionally before. It makes our own fighters lose a lot of stock. I think, let's say JJ has 2 more fights down the line after this one in October, big names and everything else. I think his last fight should be against the Misfits champion or whoever is the man at that time.
Yeah,
so that's why I think the timing has to be right. And at the end of the day, it's a win-win because obviously JJ's my boy and I want him to win. But if he ends up as his retirement fighting the champion or the biggest contender on Misfits, that's poetic justice where he can either pass the torch to that guy, or he just wins and retires, you know, and we go from there. But I think that would generate the most interest. I don't think there's anyone right now who poses a massive threat to him, to be honest.
Yeah, and I don't mean to sound like, as Twitter people would say, meat riding JJ right now, but I think people don't understand that. I feel like KSI and Jake are just on a different level than all these other guys, and that's no disrespect, because maybe it's because they've been doing it longer, maybe because they're just more passionate about it. But come on, KSI's about to fight Tommy Fury, Jake fought Fury, Woodley, all these guys. Other people are all just fighting YouTubers. There's levels to this shit.
There's levels to this shit for sure. And look, man, you never know. You never know how things could go. Look, people say, who do you think's going to win between Tommy Fury and KSI? What's your opinion, bro?
Honestly, if I was gonna bet on the fight, I would choose Tommy Fury. I'm just being completely honest.
Of course. And most people share that opinion. Most people, vast majority, right? So having said that, I think it's a matter of like, JJ thrives on being the underdog. He loves being the underdog. And I think that that's where he creates his magic. So I have no doubt that he'll win, but it's, hey guys, can you pause for a sec?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, it was like an emergency.
No, it's all good. All good.
Okay, ask me that question again. I can't remember what it was.
I think you were just explaining the whole like KSI Tommy. You were about to explain something.
Oh well, it's gone. It's
Oh.
left.
No, it's all
But-
good. It's all good.
But look, I think they're a level above most of these guys, but anything could happen on any given night. Like you said, Tommy, you choose Tommy. Most people choose Tommy. If you had to guess, out of 100 fights between KSI and Tommy, how many times would KSI win?
Honestly, I would have to watch the fight to happen to really say that.
Well, you
Okay,
can make a
1 out of-
prediction always, right?
Do you think KSI could win 1 out of 10 times if they fought 10 times?
I think
Yeah,
so. Yeah, for
no,
sure.
I think that is a possibility. Yeah.
Okay, well, if that fight were to happen, that would be the 1 out of 10 times. If that's the case, it's
Mhm.
just, that's how he's the biggest manifester, and he doesn't do it on purpose. He's not there like, hey man, let me manifest this. He's just, it comes very naturally to him. And I've said this before to him. I'm like, spiritually, he's very advanced without meaning to be advanced. And he doesn't go out and do meditations and whatever else to get to that point. And he doesn't read those, Eckhart Tolle books or anything like that. But he's naturally very spiritually grounded. And he's kind of in an he's always in equanimity.
Equanimity.
Yeah. So basically, when something bad happens, he's like, oh shit, that sucks, man. When something amazing happens, like if he won the lottery tomorrow in the US and got whatever, or I don't know whatever's considered amazing, yeah, he'd be like, oh shit, instead of oh shit, So he stays grounded. Yes, he has celebrations and you've heard his laugh and he gets excited,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it never changes him as a person in the way he perceives himself, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense, but he's not, as JJ, he's not what you see as KSI. It's weird,
No, 1000%, 1000%. And honestly, Mams, for the KSI versus Tommy Fury situation, I do think KSI stylistically will match up way better against Tommy than Jake did. Because I feel like he just has that weird style, that like non-stop pressure. I know people say Gib have that style. I think KSI has an even better style for that, right? And
Well, I think KSI hits a lot harder than Gib, and that's probably one of the biggest factors there. But Gib's engine is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, I feel like the only thing I can see happening that won't be on JJ's side is like JJ does get hit a lot, because I know he can eat these shots, but I don't know if he'll be able to eat Tommy's shots all 8 rounds.
I guess we'll find out, or we won't. But
That's why it's so exciting. That's why it's so exciting. Yeah. And just before we wrap this interview up, Mams, I have to ask you, I feel like the people want to know too, how can small creators hop on Misfits one day? I give the people the advice.
You have to stay working. You have to stay ambitious. You have to be creative, and you can't look for shortcuts. I promise the only shortcuts I've been given in life were surprise shortcuts. I've actually actively saying, fuck this, I want to do the minimal amount of work and get the biggest results, and I can't be asked to record consistent content and do whatever it is, but then they're just in your DMs saying, hey, can I be on the show? Can I be on the show? There's nothing wrong with being in your DMs, in people's DMs that can give you opportunity. That's okay. But then I look at, randomly sometimes, I'll look at their content, I'll look at what they've posted and things like that. And I'm like, this person's just DMing me, hey, can I box? But they're not doing anything to actually get closer to their goals, So I'd recommend that whoever really wants to do that, put consistent content out, be active, join spaces, be a voice in the community of whatever you're trying to do, and if in this case it's boxing, be at the gym, hone in on your skills every day, start improving and train really hard. And I I always say, like, make it your priority. If that's what you want most in life, then instead, when your friends are partying, go make content instead. Choose the path less traveled to get to where you want to go faster. That's a good one, actually.
No, 100%, 100%. And Mams, I know I said last question, but one just popped up in my mind. This is more like a personal one. It's regarding KSI's music career. I know I've asked you this in the past in a space, but would KSI ever do like a song with maybe like a Punjabi artist, go a little international, like with a Sidhu Moosewala? I know he passed away, or like someone else.
Yeah, sorry, my dog is coughing, so I've got to pick him up.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, he's a senior. Yeah, there's been talk of that, and there's actually a Punjabi artist that's approached us recently. So
no
Oh,
way.
really?
yeah, and you know, I'm always for the multicultural kind of collaborations, because it opens you up to other audiences and learning about another culture. And by the way, he's been learning a lot about different cultures
South
recently.
Asians.
Yeah, that's good,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, a lot. So I'm really proud of him. Like, I really am. I mean that. Talking about taking responsibility and doing what's necessary to grow.
No, 100%.
But yeah, I think to answer your question, that could happen. I'd like it to, for sure. It's just
Like,
a matter of finding time, because, you know, he's got a lot going on.
Oh yeah, for sure.
can you name like which artist approached you guys, or no?
I'll tell you off camera.
Okay, no, 100%.
All right.
All right, Mams, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I hope you enjoyed your time. We for sure did. And maybe in the future we can do more of these, but I really appreciate it, bro. Words of wisdom from Mams.
Hey, it's my pleasure. Make sure you tell everyone to tune in to 008.
Oh,
Misfits on this
For
Saturday.
sure, bro.
100%.
All right. Lots of love, guys. Thanks for having me.
You
All
too,
right,
my
man.
bro.
Thanks for being
Thank
here.
you so much.
All right. Bye, guys.
Peace out. Bye.